Hi friends, this is Miss C, and I'm excited to work with you again today. If you are ready to learn, I want you to shout, "It's learning time." Today we are going to read an engagement text and a decodable.
Materials.
You will need your thinking cap for this lesson. Ready? We have 3 learning targets for today. Please follow along with me as I read. Our first learning target is, using evidence from the text, I can answer questions about the current edition of the Sunnyside Gazette, Clean Out Your Attic for a Good Cause. Our second learning target is, I can read the high frequency words close, strange, circle, weave, don't, what's, laughed, through, and ago. Our last learning target is, I can read the decodable text, Grandma's Magic Attic.
Transition song.
Gather round together, together, together. It's time to hear a story, a story, a story. It's time to hear a story and say what you've learned.
Read aloud.
Listen carefully as I read our engagement text, Clean Out Your Attic for a Good Cause. Clean out your attic for a good cause. Start cleaning out your basements, closets, garages, and attics. Sunnyside High School's annual rummage sale is just around the corner. General information. Items needed: clothing, books, and household items. Rummage sale dates: Saturday, December 12th and Sunday, December 13th. Time: 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Location: Sunnyside High School Gym. Donations will be accepted in the Sunnyside High School office during regular school hours. All proceeds will benefit the Sunnyside High School Marching Band and the Sunnyside Homeless Shelter. If you are interested in volunteering, email Marching Band Leader Melody Meter, mmeter@sunnysidehigh.edu.
Fluency.
Now, I am going to ask you some questions about the story I just read. Our first question is, what event is the high school having? They are having a rummage sale. Here is our next question. What items are needed? They would need clothing, books, and household items. Here is our last question. The text says the high school is holding a rummage sale. What do you think a rummage sale is? A rummage sale is like a garage sale or a sale of used items. If you got any of the answers correct, or you worked very hard, I want you to give yourself a pat on the back. Keep up the great work.
Word work.
Now it's time for us to look at some high frequency words to decide if we will put them in the snap or trap column. Remember, we will put words that play fair or follow the rules that we know in the snap column. Words that do not play fair or are not spelled like we would think, we will put them in the trap column. Ready? How do you pronounce this word? Laughed. In this word, we see the letters A-U-G-H in the middle. This is an unusual spelling pattern that I'm not sure how to pronounce. Because I don't hear any of the sounds I would expect, we will put this in our trap column. Let's look at the next one. How do we pronounce this word? Circle. When we look at this word, we see an R-controlled syllable at the beginning, C-I-R, and a consonant L-E syllable at the end, C-L-E. This word makes all of the sounds that we would expect, so we will put it in the snap column. How do you pronounce this word? What? I hear the vowel sound, in this word, but I see the letter A, which is not what I would expect. So I would place the word what in the trap column. How do you pronounce this word? Close. It looks like there is a magic E near the end of this word, and I hear the long O sound, O, as I thought I would. So this word is a snap word. Here's our last one. How do we pronounce this word? Ago. I hear the long O sound, O, which makes sense. But when we look at that first syllable, it is also open, and it should sound like that long A sound, A, but it actually sounds like a short U, So that is very tricky, and I would place that in the trap column.
Fluency.
Now, we will start reading our decodable reader, Grandma's Magic Attic. Try to remember the high frequency words and don't forget to jump every time you hear a high frequency word. The words are close, circle, weave, don't, what, laughed, through, and ago. Watch for those blue underlines to help you know when to jump. Here we go. Grandma, can Pat and I go up in the attic? James asked his grandma. I want to see if we have any old stuff we can donate to the high school. The door might be locked. Let me check, said Grandma. What kinds of things do they want? She asked. Old clothes and books. I think anything you can use in your house, too, said James. Here on this page, we have one high frequency word. The high frequency word is close. Grandma unlocked the attic door. The stairs creaked as Grandma, James, and Pat walked up. A clock! Tick-tock, tick-tock. Pat pointed to an old clock in the corner of the attic. I don't think that clock ticks or tocks anymore, Pat, Grandma said with a smile. As you can see, we have another high frequency word. How do we pronounce this word? Don't. They started to unpack some of the boxes of clothes. James and Pat played dress up. James wore an old cloak with a hood and covered his face. Pat wore many necklaces and a purple dress. We have another high frequency word, and I hope that you're still jumping. This high frequency word is clothes. What's that thing? Asked James. He pointed to a strange box. It had a black circle on top of it, and a stick that hung over the circle. The stick looked like it had a needle at the end. We have a few high frequency words on this page. Go ahead and say out loud all of the high frequency words listed here. Starting from the top, we have what's, strange, circle, and circle. That's a record player. It plays music, said Grandma. She picked up a thin square and blew dust off it. She pulled out a shiny black circle and put it on the record player. The circle started to spin, and the needle came down. It began to play music. We have one high frequency word here. The high frequency word is circle. A long time ago, this is how we played music. Grandpa and I used to dance to this song. Let's dance like Grandma and Grandpa, said James. They all laughed and danced together to the music. We had 2 high-frequency words here. Go ahead and say them out loud. We have ago and laughed. I think your attic is magic, Grandma, said Pat. Grandma smiled and gave Pat a peck on the cheek. It's not quite magic, but it does make me feel like I've gone back in time for a little while, said Grandma.
Closing reflection.
Which high-frequency words were not tricky for you to read? Which were tricky for you to read? You did a great job reading today. I can't wait to see you next time and keep up the great work.